office.
Just gonna shoot, fuck a square ball, bitch. I'm trying to get to this girl, she wanna suck my dick. Told that girl that I love her, like, what's up, bitch? I ain't disrespectful, but what's up, bitch? Niggas say we gotta get this shit quick. So I'm about to go ahead and get a low rider and pull up on your girl in a low rider. She wanna hop in cause I'm in a low rider.
That's right.
Just gonna shoot, fuck a square ball, bitch.
Yeah, nigga. That's how we're starting off the show.
Yo.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Culture 316. I am one of your hosts, Jordan Nahisi.
Brought to you by your co-host Rick and Mo, guys. How are you today?
We hit Corporate Mo and Rick and Mo back to back. We are in for a treat. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Culture. Be sure, if you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, be sure to rate this show at 5 stars. We really, really appreciate the support that you guys give us. Also, shout outs to everybody watching on YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Before we get into the show, two shows. Well, we got three major shows, but we're going to be doing back-to-back spaces for one. What's the first show? Night of Champions. And the second space is going to be for Double or Nothing on Sunday. Both of us are going to be there. Double or Nothing is going to be fun as hell. The card looks crazy. So does Night of Champions. Night of Champions is going to be early because of, that they're in Dubai and everything like that. But I'm very much looking forward to that show. I think our spaces are going to start, I would say around 12:45 Eastern Standard Time for Night of Champions, 15 minutes before Double or Nothing starts. So be sure to join us for the spaces. It's always a fun time. It's always a vibe. I've been missing MIA for the past couple of spaces, so I'm very, very excited to be back with Reek and Corporate Mo and everyone else who joins in our debauchery. But yeah, Mo could attest to it. It's always a vibe. It's always a fun time. But we
Definitely is. You guys are crazy last space, like crazy. But we do miss you, Jordan, and we can't wait to have you back. So pop out, guys. Pop out. I'll let you know what I'm drinking. You drop down in the comments and tell me what you guys gonna have, what you're smoking on. Please, something legal, please.
Right, something
no
legal.
crackheads in the chat.
Please, no crystal meth. I don't. That's not something that I want in the space.
Can you imagine? We do not endorse any needles.
None whatsoever. I don't want to hear nothing. If I hear that, I'm kicking you out of the space. I'm kicking you out of the space. We're not doing that today. But I think I have like a little champagne situation going on. So I may be doing a little bit of a mimosa type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Real
I might be classy as some wine.
Classy. I'm probably going to have some pancakes. But, it's going to be a vibe. But we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get right into this show. So this past week, it's just been a lot of strange things going on the internet. We found out that a known Jey Uso stalker, whose TikTok username goes by the name Billy the Bully, has leaked the address of Jey Uso. If you don't know who Billy the Bully is, don't look her up. Because we don't need to be giving her any more attention. But she is a woman who has been kind of playfully stalking Jey Uso by continuing to go into his DMs and, make a lot of sexual comments. And, it's the game. But now she has allegedly leaked his personal address. And to that response, there's just been a lot of backlash online about this particular person doing this particular thing. But I just wanted to know from your standpoint, Mo, how do you feel about this whole situation unfolding pertaining to the wicked Jey Uso stalker?
It's disgusting. But I was thinking about it. I'm not happy that it happened to Jey Uso, but in a weird way, I'm kind of happy a scenario like this came up because I constantly do feel like there is a double standard, what guys could get away with and girls could get away with, and it's equally just as disturbing. It is equally just as disturbing. I understand that, as females, we feel like we're kind of flipping it on guys sometimes, so it's fine because they're always sexualizing us. But it's fun to play around on Twitter, y'all. I play around with Edge all the time, and I did push the limits, all right? I did push the limits.
Oh,
I did, and I learned my lesson. I was definitely loud and wrong. for that, you know, for adding the man and coming at the wife. Okay, as much as I play around that I dislike Beth, you don't sit there and go out of your way to not only harass someone through the DMs, which I'm sure he's not reading. He probably has it filtered to where you don't see the request anyways. But to go out of your way to go look up the address and then to go dock someone, it's like why? Like he's a married man. A, B, he's clearly not interested. C, it's just how would you feel if someone did that to you and you have like your privacy? Because let's be honest, like these people don't catch a break. They're on the road every single day. They're doing all this stuff to entertain us, and then they don't even catch a peace of mind to go home to the house they barely even get to see. Again, they're on the road how many days out a year, and you guys are gonna sit there and dox their address. Like you're putting them at risk to be harmed. You're putting the family at harm. I don't know if Jay Uso has kids or not. I'm just well aware that he's with someone. He just has a very private lifestyle. And it's a shame that they don't even have an option to have a private lifestyle because you guys feel like you just have the right to overstep boundaries. She's probably more or less like doing it because she wants attention and she wants to make a name for herself. Because I went through her page, I went through her TikTok and her Twitter. She does seem like a clout chaser. She does seem like she is aware what she's doing, despite the fact that she is still crazy to me. But it's not right. All right, you should never go out of your way to drop someone's address. You shouldn't go out of your way to be constantly DMing people. I never even DM'd Edge. As crazy as y'all think that I am, I haven't even DM'd Edge. All my fuckery I'll just do on the timeline because I'm expecting that he won't see the shit anyways. But you don't directly overstep boundaries to the point where like you're directly being a harasser. And I feel like we all should have learned our lesson from the whole Mandy and Sonya situation. We talked about it several times on this podcast, and it's just like, have y'all not learned your lesson? Like literally these women's lives were at risk because some psychopath went out of his way to locate their address and come directly. So maybe she won't do that. We don't know what she's capable of. But someone else that is even more crazier than both those two people could come in and go kill them. And now they may have to go out of their way to go relocate and find a new house and a whole situation. Like, it's just so unnecessary. It's not funny. It's not cute. Cut the shit. Jordan, how do you feel about this?
So, first things first, I do want to say what I said in the chat, and which is that I don't know if she's chasing clout. I don't know if she's doing this for whatever, but all I know is that she's crazy and she needs Christ. So let's start there. I don't know what's gotten into the culture surrounding wrestling on the internet where we feel like it's okay to do things that if a normal 9 to 5 regular human were to do to another person, they would be in jail and they would be
Mm.
heavily scrutinized. And it's just like, bro, first of all, Jay Uso, I believe, has 2 children. I believe he is
Oh my
married
god,
as
that's so
well.
sad.
He has 2 children. I believe that he is married as well. But even outside of who he is as a family man, he's a human being within and of itself, regardless of what role he plays to another human being. And as a
Yeah.
human being, you do have the right to privacy. And I don't know what Katz is talking about is like, oh, well, apparently she was like, oh, I would never leak the address. First of all, she did. But it's like, that you don't play with that. You don't play with somebody's house. You don't play with somebody's privacy. You don't play with their personhood because people are crazy. The Usos are well known, affluent public figures who make more than the normal average person. This can result in somebody going to their house, trying to rob them, trying to follow their kids, trying to follow and stalk the wife. Beyond just Jay Uso, like there's a whole other set of people that are kind of around him that he loves dearly, that he wants to provide for. And now that is all at risk because somebody wanted to take it too far. It's unacceptable. It's disgusting. And honestly, I feel like whoever this person is, whoever this woman is, just needs to get arrested. Like, you need to go to jail, ma. What is wrong with you? Like, I don't know what. Like, and the funny part is that if some random rinky dink man would do this to you, oh my god, you'd be up in arms. Oh my goodness, like, so my response is very, very cut and dry. I think this whole situation is disgusting, and I think that she needs to be arrested. But anywho, Um, let us know how y'all feel about this situation in the comments about this known Jay Uso stalker and how you feel about it. Clearly, you know how we feel about it. We're gonna move on to the next topic. I just really want to know, are wrestling fans addicted to body shaming? We saw a couple things online where some random man got up at an odd hour to compare Keith Lee to Gunther and say that um Gunter, Keith Lee was told to lose weight and he didn't, and now Gunter was told to lose weight and look at where he is now. And it's like, okay. And then apparently people had remarks about Gigi's body, her physique, her shape, and complaining that her shape enhanced over the years. It's just so dumb. It's so stupid. But I wanted to know, but yeah. So yeah, the Gigi thing, the Keith Lee and Gunter thing. Uh, I'll give my opinion on it because I think Mo had to step away real quick. When are we going to stop policing everyone's bodies? I just think that it's just really, really disturbing. Because for starters, why are you as a grown man getting up at a random time and the first thing on your mind is comparing one human body to another human body, and these two bodies are very, very different from each other, right? They have different makeups, they have different DNA. One may have certain things that the other person doesn't, and vice versa. And on top of that, it's their vision for their character and their personhood, right? It's like, if Keith Lee wants to be presented as who he is, he should have the right to do that. He reserves the right to do that. And I feel like because of his charisma, I feel like because of his overall strength, I feel like you can still push him, you can still utilize him, and he could still be a world champion. We saw that in NXT with Triple H, where they put both belts, the NXT and the NXT North American Championship, on Keith Lee, and didn't make him any less believable. He was presented a certain way and he was refined, and it was believable. And I just think that the fact that we're still associating, or we still kind of perceive uh thinness to beauty, and because we associate that thinness to beauty, um we are less reluctant to push people who may be bigger in size than other people, even though they still have all the intangibles of being a superstar, as far as being in front of the camera, as far as being a part of, whatever show that they're a part of. And then when it comes to Gigi, once again, I feel like this is definitely another case of misogyny, as well as just a general misconception of a woman's anatomy, right? When you get older, when women get older, they start to grow into their body. They start to grow into their shape. They start to fill out. And it has nothing to do with diet sometimes. It has nothing to do with what they're eating or if they're working out or not working out. It's just the way that they are. Just like as a man, you're going to grow into your body. You're going to grow into your shape. And everybody's shape is just different. Gigi Dolan, great professional wrestler. She tends to be a curvy woman, and she's going to grow and continue to grow into her shape. And there's nothing wrong with that. And on top of that, it's like, why are you so pressed on how a woman is growing into her body? And the funniest part about the whole Keith Lee and the Gunter situation, as well as the Gigi situation, the people that are making these remarks haven't been in a gym in a day in their lives. They ain't on no workout plan. They ain't on diet. They don't have endurance. Like, you're not in shape to do anything. So I don't understand why there's such a disposition against other people in their natural strength, and they're in the gym. So and the whole just like the GG physique thing, I just think it's just ludicrous. And I also think it's rooted in misogyny and this belief in the idea that women need to be thin because thinness is beauty. And well, let me reset that. Thinness is considered beauty. I don't want to body shame anybody who is smaller, but I feel like because of this perception that is driven by mainstream media traditionally, as far as thinness just being associated with beauty, we deem anything outside of that to be not beautiful. And I think that's just super wrong. And I think that is just super outdated because there are so many people of so many different shapes and sizes that look mad good. So I just like, I don't know. I feel like wrestling fans kind of continue to show their rear end when it comes to body shaming other wrestlers and you could just tell that a lot of these guys, a lot of these girls don't have an understanding of the human anatomy. And even if they did, it's like literally every body is different. So if you're not living in that body, I feel like you shouldn't be making comments on that body. And if it's not your body, then it's not your business, bro. But that's all that I had to say about it. But I wanted to know what you believe, Mo, about this entire situation with the body shaming and wrestling fans. Do you think that wrestling fans are addicted to body shaming?
At this point, yeah, but I also think it's just projection at this point because it's
Mm,
always coming from accounts of people that don't work out, don't show their face on their on their media for their profile picture. They're usually hiding behind something.
mm,
And again, like the people that are comfortable with showing themselves on the internet, I honestly see less of this. It's always people that are hiding. So it's just strange to me that we go about the same topic every single month, like literally, they pick on someone every single month, and it
mm,
goes across the board. And I just feel like it's so weird to take Gunther's success in making the executive decision and wanting to lose weight, which is it's fine by the way. If you choose to lose weight or not lose weight, that's fine. It's on you if you want to do that because it's your body at the end of the day. But to take something that he took as a personal success for his own career just because he just wanted to do it for himself, and it just so happened that yeah, it did correlate with his success. But Gunther, in my personal opinion, was still taken to a high regard. Like when I watched
mm,
him on NXT UK, I felt like if you told me to name five male wrestlers off the top of my head, Gunther would have been in my bracket.
mm,
Just because he was always just held in a high regard. I just think that the fans saw him as the way he was presented and they just watched him lose weight and then they just made this connection in their head that like he got the jetpack strapped to him because he lost all this weight. And it's just weird to me because it's just like you could congratulate somebody else while not tying it in to someone that you just dislike and just
right.
body shaming them. Because I said this before and I'll say this again, but I actually love Keith Lee's weight on him because it makes him more extraordinary. Because all the stuff that he's able to do, no, he like physics should not allow him to be able to do that. Like it should not.
Right.
You know what I mean? This guy is doing flips. This guy is running. This guy is doing agile moves. He's also a powerhouse. Like he's everything mixed into one. But you would never think that staring at him, and he carries himself and his weight like with grace and so much confidence. And I feel like that's his appeal. Now if he wanted to lose weight, that's his decision. I'll still support it either way, but I do think part of his appeal is that he comes off bigger to life to me because he's like one of a kind. Like
Right.
he should not operate that way, but he gets his body to move that way. So I love his look. I love that for him. But I just think it's just very strange that we revisit the same topic over and over and over again where fans just want to body shame. And again, like you could have just congratulated someone else without tying this in. If you hate Keith Lee, that's fine that you hate Keith Lee. I mean, at the end of the day, this sport is based off of liking someone and hating someone else when you watch. I get that. But just say that. Just flat out just put a tweet and be like, yeah, I don't like this motherfucker because he's fat. Don't sit there and just make a whole body shaming comparison. Now, as far as like Gigi goes, I was actually surprised just because like I think that she has one of the most impressive physiques from WWE currently. Like I was very surprised because like I never see anyone body shame her as far as like when I look through my timeline. I never see that. The second she's on screen, I see nothing but Gigi gifts. Like y'all are quick with that. Y'all are very quick with clipping. Because she has a lot of body for a white girl. She looks very good. Very good. So I was very surprised that, you know, she decided to make a whole post about that because it's like it probably took just one comment. And that's the thing though. It really takes only one bad comment to develop an insecurity amongst
Mm,
all the thousands and thousands because women are very sensitive. Okay. Like this company, you have to understand, like this is the same company that sat there and those Barbie girls that you guys are so accustomed to seeing that you want Gigi to basically look like. Those females were underneath a lot of pressure to stay really skinny, tan their skin, bleach their hair, put like heavy hair extensions in, go underneath the knife and go get implants, get Botox and stuff like that. But now we're moving over to a more natural look, where they're free to express themselves. And I just like it's so weird to just pick on these females because I feel like they already been through enough and that they're not in this company to be sex kittens. They're here to be wrestlers and they train very hard. They bust their asses every single week, because they want to make a name for themselves as a wrestler. And I just feel like you guys are boxing them in for their looks. Like basically what you're saying every single time you body shame these people is that I'm not going to care to pay attention to you until you look appealing enough to me. But it's just like you're not even appealing enough to like yourself. You don't even like yourself because someone that does genuinely like themselves doesn't go out of their way to consistently,
Shame other
you
people.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, like that just it's just like psychology 101. So I just feel like you guys need to get over yourselves. At the end of the day, you're still watching these people.
Mm,
You're putting you're putting money in their paychecks.
mm.
And I think it's just like the weirdest thing just to sit there and body shame. Just leave them alone, honestly. Gigi looks great. Gunther looks great. Kiki looks great. They all look great. Okay. Something about them, something that you don't like, obviously was good enough to the people that signed them and is paying them all that money. Just saying. Like your opinion is kind of irrelevant, is what I'm getting at.
Right. But I feel like a lot of it is, like you said, is projection. I think that when it comes to the women, I still think it's a form of objectification. Because I feel like the only time you're heavily policing something or someone to be something that you like, you still only deem something valuable when you're attracted to it. And the fact is that we're all attracted to different things, and I'm not gonna get super into that, but yeah, like
We
stop
need a whole pod about
objectifying, and
that.
if stop objectifying, stop projecting, and if you have nothing nice to say, you can also what be quiet. But I'm
That
gonna
part.
we're gonna move over into the next segment on a lighter note because it is a big, 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 big weekend and honestly month for all elite wrestling. And it is official that their video game, Fight Forever, is going to be released on June 29th for gaming systems. I just wanted to get your impressions because there's been more content released surrounding gameplay and screen grabs and all these other things. How do you feel about this game? Are you excited about this game? Are you eager to play it? Let me know what's
I'm
going on.
like looking through the pictures as you're talking about it, and it's just I wish there was actual gameplay. Like,
Mm,
the same way they present 2K, I wish that they actually would present something.
mm-hmm.
But then I feel like maybe that's a good thing because fans are a little bit crazy and they love leaking things. But I don't know. Also, just looking at it, I'm not like over the moon about it, but I am excited for a wrestling game. The reason why I'm not really over the moon is just like I said, the graphics are a little bit weird, but I understand they're trying to go for like a Nintendo 64. What were they mirroring? No Mercy?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like mirroring that. And if it's based off of No Mercy, then I'm like, all right, I get it. I get it. But I would like to see the game in action, maybe a match, maybe have the wrestlers play as themselves or someone else and give us some footage of that just to just sell me on how fun it is just because I mean, they let us know what are the features in there, but I want to see how it operates because I'm as a person that likes fighting games or any type of tactical games, I want to see the actual game in motion. I don't want to just hear about it. I don't care too much for like the graphics and animations, all that, but I want to just see how it is in motion, you know? So, like I said, I'm not over the moon until like they show me an actual gameplay. I don't want a trailer. I'm over the trailers. I'm over the screen grabs. Like, show us the actual game,
Mm.
please. But they'll get to that, I'm assuming. How do you feel about it?
I agree with you. I definitely want to see more gameplay or more wrestlers play the game. There was a lot of like backlash online about the graphics, and it's like it would be different if All Elite Wrestling was trying to create a game that was similar to 2K, right? We
Yeah.
know that 2K graphics are very, very advanced. We know that it thrives on the realism of everything. But
Hmm.
since they started AEW Games and developing this game, they've been very, very clear in saying, well, we want to make a fun wrestling game that's easy to play, that
Hmm.
resembles No Mercy. And it looks like we're going to get that. And there's going to be blood, which I'm very, very excited about because that is the one thing that I miss. Like, I think about the wrestling games that I played when I was younger and that I still enjoy playing. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, like blood, like all types of wild things that you can make happen in the video game that probably wouldn't be possible. I don't know if they're going to jump off a SmackDown fist, but
Hmm.
I feel like the things that I love about all the old wrestling games that made me fall in love with wrestling games, it seems like we're gonna get that in here. And because of
What
that, I'm
is your
really, really
favorite
excited.
wrestling game? Sorry
SmackDown
to
Here Comes the
interrupt.
Pain. SmackDown Here Comes the Pain is easily my favorite wrestling game.
Okay, that's fair.
I think I like the 2Ks. I think 2K20, the latest one, really fun. I remember WWE 13 was another one that I mentioned that I really like.
Yeah.
But I think that SmackDown Here Comes the Pain was my most fun game. Why? Because of unlimited finishers. That's why I could start off a match with an F5. Boom, just pick them up.
That's a fact.
Yours is
That
yours
is
is yours is Day of Reckoning, right? On GameCube.
actually okay. Just because I love the GameCube, it is Day of Reckoning. But if I have to actually go off of like what was the best game that I feel like they released, it had to been for me SmackDown versus Raw 2007.
That's a goodie.
Yeah, yeah, it's between like the story mode, the gameplay, and I think that in the first few, because again I'm a female, I think my dad just said something. Anyways, for me at least, I love Day of Reckoning because as a female, I was actually able to fight the guys.
Mm,
And most wrestling games, especially for WWE, they just for some reason at some random point with the SmackDown versus Raws, they just randomly said, "Yeah, the males can't fight the females," which pissed me off because
right.
they limited us on how many females we could fight. So I would get like bored faster. I was like, I don't want to keep fighting Trish and Lita and Michelle McCool and stuff like that. Like I want to actually like hit Batista or smack, smack
Right.
the shit out of Kurt Angle. Just because I can't. That's why I love Day of Reckoning because they just didn't care. If anything, they were only sexist when it came to bra and panties match, and I think that was probably one of the last few games besides '06 or '07 to do the bra and panties gimmick.
I'm weak.
Yeah,
The God damn the bra and panties matches, disgusting. But
yeah.
um, yeah, I'm really, really excited for the game. I'm really, really excited for this game. Um,
Hmm.
I'm eager to see how this is going to turn out. I'm going to be playing it. I know that the group chat is going to hear about it first,
Hmm.
and then y'all going to hear about it from either one of us. But want to know how y'all feel about the release of AEW Fight Forever? Let us know in the comments. But we're going to be moving on because speaking of promotions outside of WWE, there's been some big news for New Japan Pro Wrestling. This past weekend, Willow Nightingale defeated Mercedes Moné to become the first ever New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Champion at New Japan Resurgence in Long Beach, California. But it was also believed that Mercedes Moné got injured during the course of the match or one of the matches that night, and she will be out for an undisclosed amount of time. So I wanted to know what were your impressions on the win from Willow, and your impressions on Mercedes's injury and all these other things.
Well, first off, I like to wish Mercedes a speedy recovery. It obviously is unfortunate, considering that her matches are spaced out, that she has an injury. Because then, I feel like when it comes to being a wrestling fan, when you're injured and you're out, it's very easy for some people to forget about you. However, I feel as though this was a weird happy accident because it was very predictable that this was going to go to Mercedes. And I feel like people are already saying that she's getting handed everything and they're getting bored because it's expected that she's supposed to be at the top. But I kind of like that. I kind of like that this happy accident happened because I knew that Willow was going to have her moment at some point in her career, but I feel like she's also ready now to be something,
Mm,
and this is just like a very high prestige to hold. So I feel as though like it was unpredictable that this was going to happen, and yes, it is upsetting that Sasha got injured, but I'm happy that they still like gave it to Willow because she may not ever had a moment like this ever,
I agree.
ever. You know, so I love it because we don't know what's gonna happen, and I love surprises in wrestling. I really do because now, like, they probably had something long term planned out with Sasha, and they had to rewrite the fuck out of everything. And now we get to see what she's really capable of, like, you know. And I know Sasha doesn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she wrestled her ass off with Willow. It was a very good match. Um, and I, knowing how she is and how she operates, she's always here not just for herself but for women's wrestling. So I'm actually pleased with what had happened, not the injury, but the fact that it went to her so she could have her moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because like now, like there's so many more avenues that are open for Willow. And it's not like you can't return back to it and that Sasha can't win it back at some point. But like you never know. Maybe she might hold on to the belt for many months, up to a year, whatnot. We don't know what she's capable as a champion because we just seen her tease on the indies and on AEW, which
Mm-hmm.
was great stuff. So it's just like, all right, what does she do now when she has herself strapped to the rocket? So I'm actually excited, and I think people need to stop treating it like, oh, well, you only got it because she got injured. No, just be happy. I actually be happy for her because not like she doesn't work hard, you
Right.
know, like she works very hard. She's very impressive. I love her look. I love her energy. She's very infectious just to watch. And I just love seeing how genuine and how happy her reaction was when she had the belt. So I'm just like, all right, like I already feel inspired. I don't know where this is going, but I already feel inspired and I feel happy to see what's going to unfold. How did you feel about Will's win and the happy accident?
First off, like you said, I wanted to wish Mercedes Monet a speedy recovery. Injuries are never fun. I think she was diagnosed with a broken ankle, so that's
Hi.
not fun. But nevertheless, want to wish her a speedy recovery, and I hope all is well with her. I'm very, very excited about Willow winning. The funny part about it is that I feel like she's constantly been put into these star-making moments, and she's had a good amount of momentum behind her. And I was just like, well, I hope between AEW and Ring of Honor, I hope she doesn't lose momentum by just like not going after championships or not being put in like a crazy, crazy big storyline. But now she's a champ, and she's a champion for New Japan Pro Wrestling at that, which is a very, very big, prestigious honor. Um, I think this is going to have some pretty big dividends because now with Forbidden Door around the corner, that opens up so many possibilities for Willow to face a woman like a Jamie Hayter, a woman like a Jade Cargill. So I'm eager to see that. But all in all, I'm really, really happy for her. I feel like she, from what I've gathered about her, very, very pleasant human being, jovial, can wrestle her behind off. And I'm just really, really excited for her. She's super young, she's super talented, and I think that even though it was a happy accident, I think she was always ready to be a champion. And so now we got to get to see what comes of this. But those are my thoughts, really. Those are my oh, wait, one more thing. Dave, shut up, bro. Like, let Willow have her moment.
He
Like,
talks too
I get
much.
it. The belt was made for Mercedes. Woo woo woo. I think everybody kind of gathered that, but let Willow have her moment. Like, dog, let her have it. It's okay. It's okay. But that was my impressions on the win. But we want to know what you guys feel about Willow Nightingale becoming the. Oh, you had something to say. You had no.
No, I didn't. I actually was smiling.
I thought you were about to say something.
No.
But we want to know your impressions about Willow Nightingale being the first ever New Japan Strong women's champion. By the way, is a beautiful belt. That lavender strap. Oh,
I
it looks
loved
so
it.
nice. It
It
looks
looks
like
great on her.
it looks great on her. And it matched her gear, which is crazy. But yes. We want to know your impressions about that, but we are moving on. So this past week, it seemed like Zelina kind of had to clear up a little bit of a rumor pertaining to uh, a Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Monet, and Zelina Vega beef moment. Um, I think you would better explain it than I would. Can you explain it real quick, Mo? Because I think you would give a
Yeah,
better job.
sure. Sure, sure, sure. Basically, you Sasha fans are crazy. The crew, it has been crazy. Okay. And it's been going on for longer than a year or two, but it's been more brought to the surface. And what really like produced this argument to happen again was an interview where Zelina basically had stated that back around a time where I think Sasha had to make a save for Bianca from Carmella and Zelina, she came at Zelina with a Meteora and that hit her in her orbital bone. And that shit fucking hurt. And then Zelina decided, all right, like, I'm mad, but I got something for your ass because the Royal
Hmm.
Rumble, that 2022 Royal Rumble that pissed everybody off last year, where Zelina had to eliminate Sasha very early on. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but she decided that she's going to kick the dog shit out of her. And she just said it as is, as this is coming out of her brain in real time. That she did kick the shit out of her because she wanted to give her her receipt back. Because she knew she was already booked to eliminate Sasha. So it's like, all right, you got me that time. I'm going to get you back this time. Now, there wasn't more context wrapped around it. She just said exactly what happened as is. And fans took that and ran with it. You psychotic crew fans took that and just ran a few yards with it and just took it as, ah ha ha, I knew she was jealous. I knew that she wanted to be her. I knew that she hated her. And then y'all started making some weirdo ass connections between her and the match they had in Puerto Rico, where Zelina
The
came
shimmy,
out
yeah.
representing, yeah, she represented Puerto Rico. She had a blue wig on. And y'all took that as, aha, she's trying to be Sasha. She did a Meteora. She hit it with a shimmy. She had some blue in her hair. Like, y'all just like to just, y'all are worse than detectives or the
Hmm.
FBI. Zelina basically had to take it upon herself based off of all this stuff and just make a tweet and just let everyone know flat out that, hey, like, me and Sasha actually joke around and laugh about all these memories. Like, we never really had beef, and if we did, it was in the moment and it was something that we got over. But she understands also, as she had an exchange with a fan, that did try to further defend Selena by saying that, yeah, I didn't see it as much of a beef. And she's just like, yeah, the thing about you fans is that you guys love us so hard and that you guys stand us so hard that you guys are willing to go tooth and nail and fight for us, which she loves it and she adores it. But at the same time, a lot of these things you guys pull out of context and it could be misguided, which begs me to
Very true.
think, yeah, honestly, like it must suck for them just because a lot of the times you guys try to create almost like a Nikki and Cardi like beef with these people where you guys love and ride for them so hard that you guys create drama that's not even there off of little things. And I understand that you guys love your faves and that's perfectly fine, but it's just it's a bit much because it could unintentionally cause drama when there really isn't. And also at the same time, you guys don't know these people or their lives or what they're going through. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'd be pretty upset too if someone kicked me in the freaking orbital bone. You know what I mean? But it's not worth like a lifelong rivalry, but you guys don't even know if they did or didn't. Like you guys just kind of took that and ran with it off of context. And it's just why? Like I don't know. I have more things to do than the average person, I guess, throughout my day. I don't sit there and try to make connections that this
Right.
person must hate this person or whatnot. I personally feel like people need to find things to do with themselves
Hmm.
rather than just culminate beefs that aren't there. Like maybe it was cute during the pandemic because we were all locked inside and bored, but it's very weird right now. Very, very weird in 2023 for you guys to be putting grown ass women against one another that you don't even know. And that
Hmm.
she has to go out of her way to explain in 2 paragraphs that no, we actually are good. You guys are just crazy. But what do you think about this, Jordan?
So, precursor, I was on my phone because I had to go through my notes because I wanted to make sure that I stayed on topic, which is the reason I was scrolling so intensely. But here I think I'm going to start off by saying this. I think that when it comes to life and business and relationships, we have to constantly consider the fact that we don't know everything. And it's very, very easy to look at a situation, to assume the worst out of it, and then to kind of come to our own conclusions without really any truth, just kind of like what we feel. based off of what we think we saw. And because of that, I think that that's the reason why we've arrived to this particular point and juncture in this beef. And we also have to kind of understand that there are certain things that are unique to every industry that we're not going to understand because it's not what we do. Like Undertaker and Randy Orton have a great relationship. There was a point in time where Randy busted Taker open. This is like '05. And Taker was like, "Oh, I'm going to get you back." Taker busted him open. They're friends. They're great. They're cordial. They have an immense amount of respect for each other, an immense amount of admiration for each other. But in the wrestling business, it's very, very common for cats to get their lick back and it not be a personal thing, right? And now, if we're talking about like in real life, if we go tit for tat, now that's a beef, right? But in wrestling, it's just business as usual, and it's specific to this industry, right? It's specific to this industry, but because we don't know it the way we think we do, we make assumptions that it's something that it's not. And I feel like that's the case in the Selena and Mercedes thing. I also kind of believe that people kind of want Zelina and Mercedes to have some form of beef because that can lead to some form of match, which I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see a Sasha Banks versus
Oh, that'd be
Zelina Vega
messy.
match.
The promo
I,
work would be so messy.
the promo work would be phenomenal. And but I think that you have to understand that these women are professionals, right? And they don't need to have any personal beef or dispute in order to put on a great story. They just
Yeah.
have to be fully in their element and in their character. And yeah, I just think that, Zelina was right on the money. Like, hey, we don't have beef. We be joking about this and da 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 da. But I think that we as wrestling fans just kind of need to pull away from this and just understand that not everything is what it seems, and that we can't approach everything as if we know everything because we really, really don't. And we also just kind of have to come to an understanding that there's people that just don't have beef, that we may think they have beef, but it's not beef, and we have to take these guys' word for it. But that was really just all that I had to make sure I got that out because I be losing my train of thought and all the good stuff. But
No,
we
I
want to know how
agree.
you guys feel about this whole Mercedes Zelina thing. Let us know in the comments below. But I think that we're gonna be moving on. So Nick Khan has been outside recently, and in a recent interview, he addressed that there may be a potential third hour of SmackDown. I want to know, is that something that you would be in favor of? Do you want to see 3 hours of SmackDown or no?
Like, are you serious? Are you serious? Listen, the reason why SmackDown is more appealing than Raw at this point is because it's shorter. And I don't think most people even sit up to even see what happens on the third hour anymore because it's a bunch of filler and then just like probably one good segment or maybe one or two good matches. That's the appeal of SmackDown because it kind of gets to the point and like there's less time, therefore there's less filler. Okay. Not that, I mean, SmackDown was always the OG show, at least for me when I was growing up. But
Mm,
to add an extra hour, it's like for what? Outside the fact that they would accumulate more money, for real, what? For what? Because at my very grown age, if I even go to a show, and I haven't been to a show in a minute, but if I go to just a regular show, I'm not going to stand there for 3 hours and it's nothing but filler. It'd be one thing if like the show was actually really really good, but y'all don't even know what to do most of the time with 2 hours. So why
mm,
would we want three? It's kind of like with AEW. There's sometimes where they give us 2 hours of nothingness. You know what I mean? And they
right,
spill another hour of nothingness onto Rampage. Like it's just there's nothing wrong with the formula.
right.
It's just coming down to me like you just want more money. And it's not it. It's not it for me. If they add an extra hour, I know I'm not watching. But how is that supposed to wait, so you think that they're adding it now because they're taking out Rampage?
I don't know. First of all, I don't know if they're taking out Rampage, but I think it's just something that they had just, they had just been inquiring about. Because I feel like with
Oh.
Raw, once again, like you said earlier, you was like, I don't know if they would do it unless they wanted to make more money. I mean, like, I feel like if WWE wants to add any more programming, it would be for the sake of making more money. You know what I mean? So
But that's crazy. That's is that the only reason that they're trying to be petty and they're trying to just step all over Rampage?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be
Not that
considering the
anyone really
fact.
watches Rampage. I forget that it's on every single week.
But I like funny part is Rampage is actually pretty good, even though it's
It's
after
not bad.
it's
It's not
after
a bad
hours.
time.
It's just at a bad time. The time it's an AEW Dynamite quality show, but it's on a time slot that rivals BET Uncut, and that is the problem. But
Oh, good
I
luck.
just feel like with the third hour, I mean, like if it makes money, I feel like they would probably lean towards it. But I feel like the only way that a third hour for SmackDown makes sense from a creative standpoint is if they have a little more talent, a little more depth to show off.
Yeah,
I
of
feel like
course.
that's the only way that would make sense. Other than that, I don't think that SmackDown needs a third hour. Like you said, I
No.
feel like part of the reason why it's so special is because it's 2 hours, it's to the point. You know what
That's
I
what made
mean? And
NXT special, actually, when it was like 1 hour
1 hour,
before.
yeah, 1 hour
Yeah.
NXT. Woo!
Yeah, it's to me it's quality over quantity, and this is WWE that we're talking about, so it
Right.
doesn't surprise me. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they're mirroring each other at some point, like SmackDown and Raw. Like they're not here for really giving us quality entertainment anymore. It's just more so, all right, this is what the network wants. This is the amount they're going to give us for it. Let's do it and make a check, which I can't get mad at them for. But as a fan, I'm like, damn, like I'm just
Right.
like, what am I sitting here watching it for?
That makes sense. That makes sense. I want to know what everybody else has to think about a third hour of SmackDown. Let us know in the comments. But we're moving on. Yeah. Indiana Jones.
I,
Anyway,
I felt it coming.
you knew it. You knew it was on the way. But we're about to get into our
Oh my god.
predictions for the weekend because we got two big shows. We got Night of Champions, we got Double or Nothing. So we're gonna start with our Night of Champions predictions. We got a stacked card. This is actually a really, really good looking card. I'm very, very excited for all the matches on the card. We're gonna start with Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. Who do we
Ooh.
got?
I feel like it would make sense if you gave it to Becky.
Mm,
Kind of sucks. Just because, I mean, every time I see this feud, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. Trisha's been doing an amazing job. I'm like, damn, I feel like this is like a Mercedes job because it's just like,
mm.
this is the feud we've been wanting to see with her. But I'm not mad that Becky is having another go. Yeah, Becky has to get it just because Trish has like, well, I mean, they're both moms, but Trish is definitely not trying to be full time here by
Mm.
any means. She's just giving her moment. So Becky.
You got Becky. I think I'm gonna go Becky as well. I was actually recently talking about this with one of my friends. I just think that there's more in it for Becky than it is in it for Trish. I feel like Trish kind of wants to put another woman over, especially with the way that this feud has been playing out. I can see Becky definitely going over. Um, Yeah, I can see Becky going over. So that's my predictions for Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. Next, we got the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca
Yeah.
Belair versus Asuka.
Yeah, it was a rerun. That's what we
Yeah, the
got.
rerun.
Um, Super Cena. That does. There's no stocks left in doing anything with Asuka. It's not that Asuka's bad. Asuka's amazing. I adore Asuka, but like, there's no way. Or at this given point, I feel like they're gonna take it off of Bianca. I feel like they're just giving us this feud again because they don't have anyone prepared for Bianca.
Mm,
Plus, I also feel like they are at a point with her where like she's like their big plug to go on talk shows and she has all these
mm,
sponsorships and all this stuff. Like I feel like that they're not going to take the belt off of her for a while until she's ready to go take like an actual mental break or vacation or something.
mm.
Yeah,
I can see that.
yeah. What do you got?
I, I think I got Bianca Belair as well for the same reasons that you do. I don't think there's any need to expound on that. So let's move to the SmackDown Women's Championship with Rhea Ripley versus Natalia.
Now you got booked.
Yeah.
Natty gay here?
All right.
I
Well,
mean, so serious.
that's the show for today. Thank you guys for watching. Nah, I'm playing.
I mean, so serious. How did Natty get here? I need an
I'm weak.
explanation.
I don't even know because I actually haven't kept up as much with this particular feud. I honestly don't know how they got here,
Jesus Christ.
but it's a thing.
That's a nasty card. All right, Rhea got it.
Rhea, I'm gonna go with Rhea as well. But I think this is going to be a really good match. I
It
think
is,
it's
but
going to
it's
be really good.
natty. Like,
Natalia is one of the most technically sound women's wrestlers of all, if not the most technically sound wrestler, women's wrestler of all time, in my opinion. So I think this is going to be a really, really good match. I think that it's a considering that we haven't seen any visible crazy build. Um, it's going to be a
but
little weird
that's
and off
Natty's
putting.
whole career. Nothing has been a good build for her. I never seen someone be around for so long and have such a meaningless career. And it's not any disrespect to her. It's just the way they booked her. And I'm not sure if it has anything to do with her attachment to representing the Hearts. But there's like no character development to Natty. The last time I remember she had a character was her beefing with Nikki, and then that weird time they gave her like a passing gas gimmick.
Right.
Like, I feel so bad for her, to be honest. But yeah, Rhea got it for the obvious reasons. I don't need to elaborate on that.
Natty deserves better, but I agree. I'm gonna go with Rhea on this one. But we're moving on to for the Intercontinental Championship. We got Gunter versus Mustafa Ali.
Ooh, that sounds spicy. I
Yeah,
wish I
that's
would have
that that,
saw the
that
build
build
to
has actually
this.
been pretty entertaining.
Really?
Yeah, it's been pretty
Yeah, because hold
entertaining. But
on,
who you
Gunther's
got?
still a heel, right? He's still a heel.
Yes.
And then Ali has been like happy Ali, basically.
Yeah, Happy
Oh yeah, it's
Ali.
gonna be fun. This is gonna be really fun. All right. I mean, I don't see them taking it off of Gunther anytime soon. But if Ali had a run, that'd be pretty awesome. But I think he's kind of in his era where he's kind of like a Dolph Ziggler.
That's
He's just really
interesting.
good at wrestling, and you know he's gonna give you a good match, and he's just cool. He's not bad in any role that he's in, but he's just chilling. That's Ali right now.
Speaking of which, they did an interview with Mustafa Ali, and he was talking about how Paul Heyman refers to him. Paul Heyman referred to Mustafa Ali as a disruptor and said that Mustafa Ali's legacy isn't going to be based on what he does, but based on what people do after him. Because of his
Hmm.
ethnicity, because because of what he does in the ring, his ethnicity, his culture, what he brings, he said that he's going to be a guy that paves the way for a lot of other guys in the future. And to be honest, I can definitely see that with what are we gonna say? What are we
No,
gonna
it's
say?
just like I like that, but it also makes me mad. 'Cause I'm just like, okay, but why don't you use him now and make him an even bigger impact? Like, why can't you do both?
Listen,
Same way
yeah,
Trish paved the way for blondes, like,
right.
bad bitches being, actual wrestlers at the same time. Why can't you do the same thing with Ali for
Listen,
brown
that's
people?
WWE Creative's question to answer because that is above my pay
It just
grade.
is like a
But
backhanded compliment. Like, you're not good
it
enough to
is
be him now, but you're good enough to set a precedent. Like,
right. That's it.
we're not gonna
No,
do nothing with you. Like,
right.
you're on payroll.
But yeah, so collect your check. But I got Gunter.
Exactly.
I got Gunter on this one. He's too dominant. I feel like he's just gonna continue to just reign and be dominant. So yeah, I got Gunter in this one. Now we got the undisputed tag team championships. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be the match that I'm very much looking forward to. Um, because this build between Sami Zayn and KO, and then the Usos, and then Roman Reigns and Solo, with like Solo kind of looking like Roman is afraid of him, but also him kind of like going against his brothers in a way by tagging with Roman. I think it's just all really good development. But I want to know who y'all got. Who you got? I
Okay,
said
so
y'all.
yeah, I mean, we do want to know how you guys feel.
Right.
Um, okay, so like I said, I haven't been watching, so I'm thinking of this could go in two ways. So I heard Roman has been running his mouth a lot about how the Usos are basically useless, and that Solo's really like, basically his actual day one, more or less.
Right.
Um, that being said, what if it goes in one of two ways? Like, what if it looks like Solo and Roman are about to win, but the Usos make an interference just to be assholes, and then they cost them the win just to say, aha, you know? And
Right.
then they make Solo look bad, and you just have all like these different webs of beefs going on. Where it's not just like you may put some like heat between Roman and Solo, where you also get heat off of Solo and the Usos, which they already had beef. Off of maybe Roman not seeing the interference, but Solo gets like rolled up or something, and then cost them the victory. That could be one way, or they could win and just prove Roman right. So
Right.
I actually don't have an answer right now, but those are the two ways I'm predicting that it could possibly end: an
Mm.
interference, and then cost Solo or Roman too. They could get Roman, then Solo could look at Roman like, oh, like you're the tribal chief and you're just like pathetic. Like if I don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Right.
Also, three ways. Whoo, wait, this is spicy. Right now, I'm
Exactly.
really invested. I'm not even watching. I just created my own show. What do you think? I want to hear all your whole thought process on which way they could win.
So I'm gonna give my. So here's what I think. Here's what I would love. I would love for the Usos to accidentally interfere, uh, and as if they're trying to kick Sammy and KO, and then they actually kick Solo and Roman.
Yeah.
They duck. KO throws both of them out the ring. Sammy hits Roman with the haluva kick, and he gets the pin. That way,
Mm.
Sami Zayn is the first person to pin Roman Reigns in nearly 2 years without Roman having to actually lose his titles.
This is spicy. Spicy.
And because of it's the Usos interference, it's the rubbing of the hands for me. Because of the Usos interference, Roman can easily say, well, I was only pinned for the first time in 2, 3 years because the Usos interfered, which drives more division between the bloodline.
More
But
webs. I love
also at
this.
the same time, because Sammy pinned Roman, the one who was kicked out of the bloodline now has one up on the head of the bloodline
And the whole division. That's
and the
a
whole
big
division at
W.
that.
Because I don't think
So
anyone
I
still
think
took him seriously.
right. And I feel like part of the whole thing with him losing at Elimination Chamber was like, oh man, Sammy should have won. So it's like, it's vindication for that. So it's like it gets three things done at the same, two or three things done at the same time. But ultimately, I think KO and Sammy are gonna win. I think this is just gonna kind of spill over, and now we're gonna get a bloodline East versus bloodline West type of situation between the Usos on one side and then Roman and Solo on the other side.
I
So,
like this. I like this.
but we're gonna move on to the next match. We got Brock Lesnar versus Cody Luther King. Who do you have?
I thought it was Cody Lopez del Toro.
Oh my
No?
god, because he's Cuban. I forgot, but he could be both.
um, I mean, I'm always gonna choose Cody every single time. And I feel, I mean, they could go tick for tack and have like Brock get them and do 50-50 booking because they are known for that.
Right.
Um, but I feel like it would make more sense, unless it's a bullshit win that Brock wins. I feel like it makes more sense for me if Cody goes over and he wins because I feel like he still needs to build himself up as a winner
Mm-hmm.
all over again because of how big of a loss that was for Mania. A, but B, they're on separate brands right now, right? Him and Roman.
Yes.
And they're basically building him towards the belt. I don't see Brock achieving that belt. So I'm assuming that they're going to book Cody on a different B plot storyline to get that belt. So I feel
Right.
like he has to win. If not, it'll be a 50-50 bullshit fuck finish for Brock to win.
Mm.
That's what I'm getting at. What do you think?
I think considering that Cody won the first one, I think Brock's gonna win this one, and we're gonna get a rubber match at SummerSlam to kind of settle it
Mm,
once and for all.
That makes sense.
Um, so I think that I think we're gonna get Brock is gonna win this one for sure. I think, like you said, Brock is gonna win because I don't see Brock losing clean twice. I just
Hmm.
don't see it. I feel like it's gonna lead to some form of no holds barred type of situation, but we'll see.
Mm.
But for this match, I got Brock. And for the main event, for the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship, we got AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. Oh,
Ooh, you can't go wrong. Damn.
oh,
That's gonna be a banger, first of all.
that's gonna be a banger. Oh my god.
Whew, that's hard. That's so hard because like you can't go wrong with either person. Because we don't know whenever AJ is ever going to retire because this man's in his 40s or whatnot. So I feel like it only makes sense to pad up his resume on like the way out. But I love Seth Rollins so much, and I feel like, as you said, I concur that he is like one of the greatest, probably the perfect world wrestler currently that's alive on this planet. So I feel like giving it to him automatically just establishes this belt and gives it a prestige. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. They have to
Mm,
win by a clean victory, obviously, if they're gonna get this. And I just feel like, like who needs it more? But who also will bring more like meaning to the belt? You got someone like AJ Styles who basically put out the Undertaker,
mm-hmm.
also one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet. He's held in a high regard, but I think currently, if you go by the fans and how they feel right now, Seth, I think everyone would be more happier if it was Seth.
Mm-hmm.
Like AJ could afford to lose, and it wouldn't cost him his like career, his legacy. Seth, for me, has been experiencing too many losses. So I would like to see someone like him who's been doing such a good job with everything. Like he's so fun, he's so innovative, he's so interesting. He's so interesting to watch, he's so interesting to look at, he's so interesting to hear, he's just creative, he's always reinventing. I feel like for now, give it to Seth. Maybe somewhere down the line, AJ could get it to pad up his resume, but I would love to see Seth with it. Then down the line, we get a whole Seth and Cody thing over again, if you like. Can't be mad at that rerun. But AJ versus Cody would also be nice.
That would be tough.
Now I'm stressed out. What do you think? Please decompress me because I'm just
So here's I'm so torn about
stressed.
this match. Well, first off, let me tell you who I think is gonna win. I think Seth Rollins is gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
But I want Seth Rollins to win, but I also want AJ Styles to win. Because yes, Seth Rollins, I think, would be the perfect inaugural WWE World Heavyweight Champion in the modern era. But let me propose to you a different alternative. AJ Styles wins. AJ Styles wins. He wins in a dirty way. He wins in a dirty way. He turns heel. And he gives the OC the much needed facelift that it needs. Because to be honest, they're cool and they already kind of run as if they're heels because of the way that they carry themselves, but they're not. They're like cool good guys, but they're not bad guys. But you market them as heels, and we get IWGP champion, leader of the Bullet Club, AJ Styles energy. We get OC kind of back in their bag as far as being heels. Mia Yim turns heel as a result because she's a part of the OC. It's one of those things where it's a win-win situation regardless of who wins, because if Seth Rollins wins, the audience is happy. If AJ Styles wins, more people get visibility, more people get heat, and you kind of have a deeper I want to say deeper like connection, but I feel like there's so many people that can benefit off of AJ Styles championship run as a heel.
Mm.
So, but I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins on this one. But that concludes our Night of Champions prediction. So let us know how y'all feel about that in the comments below. Let us know if we out of line, if we bugging out. But we're moving on. So we're gonna go into our predictions for double zubble. If you're a bird, zubble and nothing, zubble and nothing. So we're about to get into our little
Her.
prediction for zubble and nothing. It's gonna be this Sunday, MGM Grand Arena, celebrating 4 years of AEW, and they are on a roll right now. And this card also looks extremely stacked. We're gonna get right into it, starting from the bottom of the card. We have Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho in an unsanctioned match. Who do you have?
Oh, that sounds messy. I would like Adam Cole to go over, even though I have
Mm.
not been keeping up. I would want Adam Cole to go over. What do you got?
I'm gonna go same. I want to see Adam Cole win. I love. I don't know if you watched Dynamite last night, but
Did I have a chance to
them
know?
it was so interesting. They did a little contract signing, and Chris Jericho said, "You're stupid because it's an unsanctioned match and it's all of us against you." And he was talking about Jericho Appreciation Society. Also, they've kind of quietly removed Sammy from the JAS, which I think is very smart and very good because he doesn't need to be part of that anymore.
Mm.
Because now that Sammy's kind of in the world title picture, I don't think that him being next to Jericho would help him any bit. But Jericho, back to the main point, Jericho said, "There's five of us, and there's only two of you," referring to Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. And then he said, "Well, that's where you're wrong again, because I made a call to one of my idols who's more crazier than all of you. He's the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal Sabu." And out comes Sabu, and he throws a chair in somebody's face. And it was great. Just whomp. I love Sabu for that.
He's
But
so
yeah, like,
reckless. I love him.
but Sabu is going to be in the corner of Adam Cole alongside Roderick Strong. Personally, I would love to see a little Kyle O'Reilly uh kind of cameo in there. Who's this calling me? Not picking up. Um a Kyle O'Reilly kind of interruption in there, just so that we can see like an undisputed reunion. But I do have
That'd be
Adam
fun.
Cole. That would be fun. I think that we're gonna get like a nice little Adam Cole um victory here. I think that he deserves to go over. I think this is the match for him to kind of go over in, because technically unsanctioned means it's not against, like, it's unregulated by AEW, which means that it doesn't count for the win-loss record. So it will be a win that won't count. But I think that Adam Cole's going to go over. Now we're going to go into a six-man tag. Ethan Page and the Guns, which is Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn, versus the Hardys, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, and Hook.
Oh my god, Hook being paired with them is genius.
I
Oh
love
my
that.
god. I love that. That's honestly a combo I would never have put together on my own. So that's fucking fire. But I'm always on any side that Jeff is on, even if it's at the expense of having to, for one night, be a mid Hardy fan. So I'm gonna go with the Hardy Boys and Hook.
Mo cheering for Mid Hardy is the concept that I was not in my
Was not
2023 bingo.
the heel
But
turn unexpected.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Hook and the Hardys on this one as well, because I feel like this is gonna be the final nail in the coffin to this whole Firm versus Hardy situation. So I think that the Hardys and Hook are gonna pull this one off. And but yeah, I think it's gonna be the Hardys and Hook. But we're moving on to Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie for the TBS Championship.
Now, once you get here, that actually is gonna probably be a decent match for Jade. Just because even if I don't really care for Taya, like she's actually a very good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm assuming that they're going to be consistent with Jade. I don't know when they're going to take the belt off, but I don't feel like it's going to be soon.
Mm.
But how do you feel about her having the belt for this long? Do you feel like they're doing anything with it?
Honestly, and this is the reason why my prediction may shock you. I think that, first of all, I think that Taya is gonna win.
Really? Why?
Uh, um, Jade's run has run a little dry.
Yeah.
I feel like Jade's reign has run a little dry, and I think that she needs something new. I also feel like because the last time Jade and Taya had a match for this belt, Jade won off of a roll up, and Taya then got suspended, and now she's back. Um, but I think that they did that intentionally. I feel like they wanted to set up a two match type of situation
Hmm.
because that means Jade can win one and Taya wins one. Jade doesn't look weak.
Hmm.
And
I
it's
think that
double or
makes
nothing.
sense. Okay.
It's double or nothing. I think that because of the size of this event, there needs to be a title change. Um, that happens. That's like whoa. So I think that we're gonna
That's
see Taya
true.
Valkyrie beat Jade.
But
And if she
then,
does, it doesn't look bad on Jade. You know,
but then what's next for Jay? Do you think they're going to
world
like,
title,
nah,
world
yeah?
title. I think that she can go for the world title and win.
Do you think she's ready
Um,
for it, like wrestling
yeah,
wise?
I think so. I
Okay.
personally think so. I think that's part of the reason why she's been the TBS champion for so long.
It's like almost her developmental.
It's been her like development type of situation. But
Interesting.
I do think that she's ready for the world title. Um, and also we may see a little character change in her. We may see a face turn. You know what I mean? And
I don't even know how I feel about that.
we may see her being developed as a face. Anything could happen. I feel like because the whole exodus of like the baddies, like, and now the only one left is like Layla Gray. I feel like we can see like Layla Gray leave, and then Mark Sterling leave, and then kind of her kind of having like a reckoning, and then she kind of rebuilds herself as like this new person, then goes after the world title. I feel
The
like
only
that's a good little.
way I could see her like being bought in is like with the Bianca treatment.
That'd be interesting. I mean,
Because
look,
I mean,
she's already press. You know what I mean?
yeah, she has like a stacked resume, and she had a master's degree. She did basketball. No, I think she has 2 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. Someone, I mean, don't quote me on it, but because swore she said in a tweet that she has 2 degrees. She's a model. She's a mom. You know what I'm saying? Like she has all these things that could make her like it makes her a bad bitch, which was perfect for a heel, right? Because
Right.
she's just bad, pretty. She's all that, and she's wrestling, so she's just adding to her list of things that she could do because she could do it all. However, you could kind of give her the Bianca treatment and then flip that into not an EST exactly,
Right.
but kind of like an EST. Like, she could be
Just a
empowering.
superwoman. Yeah.
Basically, that's actually the best way to bring her in, considering that she already cosplays. I would love to see her come out as like a Superwoman or Wonder Woman when she peaks and she gets the belt one day. That'd be
Right.
great.
That would be good. I'll be in favor of that. But yeah, I
Hmm.
think Ty is gonna win this little diddly. But we're gonna move on to the next match, which is Orange Cassidy versus Aaron Solo versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus QT Marshall versus Ricky Starks. I think this is gonna be a 20-person battle royal for
That's
the
a lot.
AEW International Championship. Who do you think wins this match?
Sorry, the international championship was replacing the
All Atlantic.
King. Oh,
All
Atlantic.
Atlantic.
Okay. Oh, well, I see that you only mentioned the relevant people, then put 16 TBD. So,
Yeah.
based off of that, I'm going to go off of those 5 people. And I'm going to give it to Ricky Starks because it's fucking Ricky Starks. And I feel like he's been white hot. He's always been white hot. And I'm very over Orange Cassidy. I
Mm.
haven't barely been watching, but I just find his whole stick to be boring, and he needs to remix something over there. But I feel like Ricky makes the most sense for me. But then again, I'm a stan of Ricky, so I can be biased. What do you think?
I agree with Ricky Starks. Here's my problem with Orange Cassidy. I don't get tired of Orange Cassidy. I really like him. I really like his style. I think it's needed. I think he's a star
Why is it needed?
because it it's something that's distinct. It's something that is specific to AEW that makes them distinct from WWE. Right? As far as the type of character that Orange Cassidy is. He's not your typical star. Like he does not have the typical presentation. But what I will say is this, because of the whole him putting the championship in the bag. Like literally every time I forget that he's the champion because I don't
Yeah,
see him with the title. I see him with the bag and then he pulls
yeah.
the title out the bag. And I feel like while that's cute and that's good and that works for his character, I feel
No,
like
it
that's
doesn't.
harmful
He's
to the
better
championship.
because you're holding more stuff. You didn't want to wear the belt, so you're gonna hold it in a bag. Like to me,
Right.
that's
And it
dumb because it's more work to go pick up something, put it in a bag, and carry a bag on you. When
right.
you can just have him be lazy and drag it. Or he was better off
Right.
having someone carry it, to be honest. But he was better off just
Honestly.
dragging it like a sloth. But go ahead. Sorry, that's my little
But
two cents.
I think that the title needs to be visible. It needs to be front and center. It needs to
Yes,
be prominent,
yes.
especially if you're trying to heavily feature it. And so I think that the person who's going to make that championship visible and mean something is Ricky Starks. So I'm going to go with Ricky Starks on this one. I think he's going to win. Plus, he's been like overdue for a moment now. So that's my thing on him. Next, we have the Anarchy in the Arena. We have the Blackpool Combat Club, which features Brian Danielson, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta versus the Elite and Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Hangman Adam Page. Who do we have?
Well, that's a lot of humans. I'm just saying. What is the backstory with them again? Why are there so many
so,
people?
so, all right, so boom, man. I wish you were watching. I wish you watched Dynamite. So essentially, what was happening was the it started. It well, it didn't really start, but obviously, um, Kenny and Moxley have a feud that grew into Kenny versus Moxley, as well as the BCC getting involved because that's Moxley's faction, right?
Okay.
That grew into them consistently attacking and targeting Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Okay.
After consistently attacking them, they said you're outnumbered. Da 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 da. They came out. Kenny Omega came out. The Young Bucks came out with all these different weapons, and then out of the
Mm-hmm.
blue, the Hangman's theme comes on, and I love it because they've been teasing a Hangman Elite reunion for so long, at least 2 years now. There would be like
Mm-hmm.
times where like Hangman would walk past the Elite and would like give them a look like I want to be y'all are my friends. Like I love y'all, but I can't say it. I gotta
Aww.
be prideful. Or like he would come across old pictures in like BTE. So now BCC outnumbers the Elite and they're about to go down there and fight 4-on-3 again with weapons. And then Hangman comes out and they all go down in the ring and they beat up the Blackpool Combat Club. And then Hangman gets on the mic and says, we're the heart and the soul and the spirit of all elite wrestling. We. And then he looks at these
Aww.
guys and said, we are the elite. So now Hangman is back in the elite officially. He's no longer in like the weird faction limbo of being the friends of the Dark Order and friends with, he's in the elite. So now because of that, we have a match between Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite and an Anarchy in the Arena match. So, with that being said, who do you have?
Oh, based off that lovely tale that Jordan just told us, I'm definitely going with the Elite and Hangman because that's the only way you wrap up a story that you dragged out for 2 years like that.
Mm,
Because what do you do when they lose? What do you do in a situation when if they lose? All that meant nothing. So I'm
mm,
gonna go with that, but I'm still expecting a banger because everyone here, minus Willer Yuta, because I don't care for him, he's useless. Everyone else here is pretty useful and very
mm,
great wrestlers. So I'm imagining a banger and a reunion, and
mm.
then they're probably gonna make a spectacle out of this. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely and rightfully so. I also believe that that the Elite and Hangman will win this match. I think that this is the perfect, like you said, the perfect way to kind of cap off this story and a perfect place to end it, right? I mean, not end it, but like kind of like put the cherry on top because remember, it was Hangman and the Elite that announced All Elite Wrestling together. And so the
Mm,
first show was Double or Nothing. And to kind of see where they were 4 years ago and to see where they are now, this has kind of been a match that's been 4 years in the making. And so I think that them winning is really the only practical, logical, and right decision. So boom, there's that. Now moving on to the next match. Gosh, there's so many matches. We have
Uh-huh.
Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm for the AEW World Women's Championship. Very excited for this match. I think this is going to be a banger. Wanted to know, who do you believe is going to win this one?
I'm very much over Tony Storm for personal reasons. Um, just yeah, but Jamie had it for a while now. Or maybe it feels like a while because I haven't watched it like that. And we're damn near in June. She got the belt in like what, December or January or something like
Yeah.
that? Hmm. Hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave it to Tony just because they've been building this whole thing up with her and the faction she's working in. But she
Mm-hmm.
already had it, and I'm like, all right, well, she gets the belt. Then what did they do with Tony in this faction? Like, what does the belt mean to the faction now they have it?
Mm.
Well, based off a person like me that wasn't watching, I'm going to go ahead and guess Jamie, as I don't understand how this belt would help out Tony if she had it. Personally, I don't see how it would help her out with the group if she had it. But what do you think? I feel like you're about to just like rip through everything I just said.
So, as someone who has been watching, I can see Tony Storm winning, and here's why.
Mhm.
The Outcast, which is the faction of Tony Storm, Ruby Soho, and Soraya, they
Mhm.
have had a it's like a cycle attached to them where they constantly build back up, do a bunch of disrespectful stuff to the women's roster, get beat by the top dogs, get sent back down. Then they kind of work their way back
Mhm.
up, try to come at the top dogs, get beat, get knocked back down. And that could happen in the form of them versus Britt or them versus Jamie or a tag match or a six man or whatever. It always is like a cycle of just them going back and forth. And there's been
Mhm.
no real momentum shift. If they want to solidify the Outcast as a credible faction, they need to not be the hunter. They need to be the hunted. They need to be at the pinnacle of the women's division in order
That
for
makes
them to gain
sense.
the credibility that I feel like they want to attain. And so I feel like if you keep on putting them in a position where they're constantly chasing, it kind of makes them look like they're lacking power. And so I feel like if Tony wins the belt, it's like, okay, now the momentum is shifted to us. Now you have to chase us. We're no longer at your mercy. You're at our mercy. So I feel like based off of that logic, I think that Tony Storm can win the belt. Also, I feel like they're going to want to do this properly with Tony because when she was the women's champion, she was the interim women's champion. And that's something that she's made very, very known that it's bothered her. Is like, I held the belt and I was considered interim. So I feel like they're
Oh,
going to
that's
use this
true.
opportunity. I think that they're going to use this opportunity to kind of make it right and give her a legitimate world title reign. Um, Also, she's been doing a lot of cross promotional stuff. She was at New Japan Strong, helping out Juice Robinson in a match with Fred Rosser.
Oh, that's so cool.
So,
I love that.
so they literally she did a pile driver on him, and so I think that if the plan is to continue to kind of have them do cross branding and cross promotion, I think that Tony Storm putting the belt on Tony Storm is going to be great for the company. So that's my take on that.
That
Now
actually.
we're going to move on to for the TNT Championship. We got Wardlow versus Christian Cage. Who do we have? Oh, it's Wardlow versus Christian
Yeah.
Cage
Oh
in a
wait, wait.
ladder match.
Oh,
Did you hear me?
he got Arm Anderson.
Arn Anderson,
He
Glock
got Arm
Anderson.
Anderson. Oh no, he got that. He definitely got that. Nah, I'm like off of that. I'm gonna give it to Warlow, even though I
I'm
love
weak.
Christian Cage. I want to see what kind of turtleneck he pops out with for the
Yeah,
steel cage match. Doing a steel cage match in a turtleneck must suck. Like if he gets hooked on,
bro. I know he be hot.
if he gets hooked on about the turtleneck part, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh so hard. But um, yeah, I kind of want to give it to Wardlow. Yeah, but then I don't know. I'm actually conflicted.
Mm.
I'm actually conflicted. Hey, wait, has Christian held the belt at all?
Christian
He
hasn't
has,
held the
right?
belt. Well, he
He has
held the
a belt.
Impact World Championship.
Ooh.
Um, he won it on AEW TV, but he is not held. I don't think that he has held an AEW belt.
Wait, he had. Oh, wow. Hmm. Okay, no, I'm changing my answer. I want Christian.
Hmm.
As much as I love the armed Anderson, I'm gonna go with
Armed
Christian
Anderson.
here.
Glock Anderson. I I'm gonna go with Wardlow. I think that the bigger story than Warlow and Christian Cage is kind of this tension between Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, because Luchasaurus visibly wanted that TNT championship match. And so I think that this is going to be an opportunity where Luchasaurus is going to kind of walk out on Christian and eventually challenge uh Warlow on his own. But I do think that Warlow is going to win this match. So I got Warlow. But moving on to the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal with I think it's Mark Briscoe is going to be the special guest referee of the match. This has been actually one of the most entertaining builds in some while. So I'll give you
Why is Karen
context.
here though?
Oh, so this is part of the context. Let me summarize the build for you. So, after Mark Briscoe gets brought into AEW, you have Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett kind of manipulating Mark to be aligned with them, and then because Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe are like best friends. Then on the other
Mm-hmm.
side, FTR and Mark Briscoe are also best friends. So at first they were teaming together, but there was a rift in trust and communication, which led the two teams to feud with each other. Now essentially both teams are kind of asking him to pick a side. At one juncture when they had a confrontation, um, there was a point in time where they messed up. I think they sprayed something in Dax's eye, and because he was blinded, he accidentally pile drove Mark Briscoe. So now you have one side trying to manipulate him. You have another side that is trying to, is giving the impression that they are not, that they are not really for him. And
Okay.
now he's kind of torn in the middle. He's kind of stuck in the middle. Then there was an attack. FTR was trying to attack Jeff and Jay, and then what happens is Karen Jarrett shows up and
Mm-hmm.
distracts them. They both get hit with guitars, and then that's what led to now where we're into now. So it's interesting because the momentum, like Jeff and Jay have been outsmarting FTR every step of the way. But at the same time, Mark Briscoe is still kind of split in the middle, and he's going to be the special guest referee. But it's like, what thing is he going to take more personally? The fact that he knows he's being used by Jay and Jeff, or the fact that Dax pile drove him?
Hmm. Off of all that buffoonery that I just listened to, I'm gonna go with Jeff Jarrett, Kurt Angle's ex-wife,
I'm weak.
FDR.
Kurt Angle's ex-wife is OD.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about that. Who do you have?
Personally, um I have FTR. I don't see FTR losing the belts. I really don't. And if they do lose them, I highly doubt that it would be to Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. But yeah, I think that FTR is gonna win. They're gonna come out on top.
Oh, they're all
Um,
separate? I read that wrong. Oh, it's a
the
three
what?
way. I read that so wrong.
It's
I
just
thought for
Jeff
some.
Jarrett and Jay Lethal. It's a team on team match. But Karen Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh are going to be accompanying Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal.
Okay, I read that so wrong. Yeah. All right. No, I changed my answer to FDR.
Yeah. But all right, so boom. And then the main event, we have the four-way match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. We have MJF versus Sammy Guevara versus
Ooh.
Darby Allin
Ooh.
versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Who do we have?
And MGF still has it.
MJF still has it.
The options were. MJF,
right?
Darby, Jungle Boy, and then who's up the fourth one?
Sammy,
I mean,
the
they
four
have
pillars.
been. They have. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even think about it that way. I mean, I would love to see Darby win something because I adore Darby, but I feel like they've been working really hard with the Sammy angle.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he's like a safe person to get it. And I mean, people will be mad if he won. But I mean, I
Mm,
just feel like why are you building him as like this baby face
right,
to be taken seriously and detaching from Jericho if you didn't want him to like win something?
right.
Um, because MJF could lose it, and I don't think that anyone would be mad if MJF lost it.
Mm,
But my heart would want Darby, but I feel like it's going to go to Sammy. That's how I
mm.
feel. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Sammy. I think I'm gonna go with Sammy Guevara.
Mm.
Actually, no, I take that back. I think that's gonna be
Mm.
MJF.
Why?
I think MJF is gonna retain. I don't know. Somehow, some way, he's gonna retain the belt. I feel like he's gonna retain it. I feel like he's gonna be a very, very smart, conniving, strategic heel in this match, and he's gonna let everybody kind of go all out because everybody's a high flyer, everybody's a daredevil, everybody's trying to put everything on the line. MJF is trying to win the match. And I feel like
Mm.
that's gonna be the story. So y'all could wild out. Y'all could do 738s from the top of a ladder. Y'all could jump from the ring to the
But I'm
table, from the
smarter and
ring
I'm better
into
than
a chair.
you.
Exactly. I'm gonna be smarter. I'm gonna play the smart role, and I'm gonna let y'all exert all y'all energy, and I'm just gonna stay on the outside, and I'm gonna pin y'all, and then that's it.
Yeah, he's
But I
probably
think
gonna
that's
sabotage the last high flyer or something. I don't know,
probably, and
push
then
somebody
just.
off or something. I don't know, something corny, and then pin them.
But
Yeah,
I
you're
think MJ,
right. Go
I
ahead.
think MJF is gonna win. I feel like the stock in him is really high at this point. And I feel like if they want to solidify MJF is like the guy, him beating the four pillars is gonna 100% solidify him as the guy. But yeah, that concludes our Zubble or Nothing production predictions. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of our predictions. But it looks like that's it for today's show, this week's show. Remember, we got Night of Champions, our space on Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, and then we have Double or Nothing on Sunday night on our spaces. Be sure to go to Twitter at Culture316, find out more information. But we look to see y'all there, and if not, we'll see y'all next week.